Welcome to the JBJ Management Podcast. I'm Willis Johnson, and today, this is the first time, isn't it? I don't know. Noa Dowl. I'm excited.
How are you doing?
I'm excited.
Thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it. It's been a
Yeah,
long
I guess
time.
that's kind of what it is, a show. That's kind of what it is. So, you've done commercials, though. This is not your first time in camera and all that stuff. You need makeup or what? What's
Well, luckily this is, a little easier when I can just not memorize lines and things like that. But,
You majored in theater.
I did.
With the intent to do what?
Well, it's a good icebreaker now.
Hmm.
I think people go, oh, that's pretty interesting. But,
Hmm.
I wanted to be like Denzel Washington when I was growing up. And then I was in there doing jazz hands, and I said, I need to get a corporate job. That was not what I was trying to do. So I want to be over there tap dancing, and that wasn't what I was trying to do. So.
But majoring in theater, it's like trying to play in the NFL.
Mhm.
Getting through the eye of that needle,
Mhm.
man, that's not an easy task. So, was your goal to be movies or on screen on Broadway?
I don't think I knew how. And it sounds silly. I don't think I knew how difficult it would be to get into a movie. Now that I understand how relationships work, how networking works, I probably would have approached it a little bit differently. But I'm not that interested in going back. I would have built relationships with casting directors, would have went to their classes, would have, been more intentional about going to dinner and saying, hey, what roles do you have coming up that I could be in, as opposed to what the general population does for that, which is go out and just go to auditions. I now know it's already picked. So they already know who they're going to use. They just got to show people, what's going on.
That is interesting because it is about networking. It is about relationships. Alfred Hitchcock had a thing for this girl who was in The Birds, and he put her in a ton of movies. She was not a great actress, but he liked her. And he was a big-time producer. I mean, that's kind of the way the thing works.
Well, you were in TV and radio for a long time.
Hated it.
But you specifically found people you liked and you put them on the show, or you brought them on?
That's a great question, Noah. That's a great question. No, so I had to evolve because I was spinning records. I was a disc jockey. That's what we were back in the day. You spinning records, 45s, the thing dropped down, you hit and go. And you had to talk over the intro of the record and then shut up and let the music play. But then as time changed, I became a talk show host. And so then it became, who's in the community that has influence? Who has influence on the community? Is it a minister? Is it an elected official? Is it the garage guy? It's a guy like Robert Petrie. I'll just take that for instance. Robert Petrie. He owns the Skyline Ranch. Never elected, but he's a business owner. He took $600 and he became a car dealer. Then he bought some land and he had the Skyline Ranch. It was an influencer. But that's the same way it is, I think, for business. I'm watching what's happening in downtown Dallas now. If you think about downtown, what's the first thing you think about? You work downtown Dallas. What
I think about the Omni Hotel, I think. It's the first thing I think of. And when you, like the Skyline in general, but the Omni is so different and being more modern.
And that makes me smile because there was no Omni. I remember how that happened. And there were people of influence who had kept the Omni from happening for 30 years. And then a mayor, Tom Leppard, said, no, we're going to have a hotel that connects to the convention center. Thus, business boomed. So now, with that later, that same mayor, Tom Leppard, who brought in the Omni, same guy who brought AT&T from San Antonio.
That was a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal for AT&T to be down, and their plans, and then how it all rolled out. It was a big deal for them to be downtown.
And nobody really thinks about that. You just assume, okay, well, AT&T's downtown. No, in 2007, one of the first things Tom Leppard did was get on a plane, go to San Antonio, and talk to Ed Whitaker about, would you consider moving? And he was like, what? But his mother is from Ennis, Texas. So he considered it. It's about a relationship. It's about a relationship.
You imagine moving AT&T because you're like, my mom lives around there.
AT&T, the largest telephone company in the world.
Absolutely.
That's downtown Dallas now. But there's talk that it might leave. What do you think that means to Dallas?
I couldn't believe that actually when I first heard it because I felt like they just got there. They just invested a lot in it.
15 years or so, yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of only felt like a lot less time than that. So for them to think about, I'm going to go up to, Plano or Frisco or wherever it is they're talking about, McKinney, that would be bad for downtown. I think they need to figure out how to stay and invest, and the convention centers come in, and there's some opportunity with, some other sports things, and it would be better for them to stay.
I think so.
You're going to go to the practice facilities? You're going to come to where the arenas are?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, but if you look at the history of AT&T, they have a history of moving. Originally, they were in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. They moved to San Antonio. Then they moved from San Antonio to Dallas, and now there's talk that they might move, still in Texas, but north. One of the reasons that comes up is safety, homelessness. How do we address that?
I know Housing Forward is doing some great stuff with that. I think there's a disconnect between downtown and wealth and human beings, because there's ideas that homeless people shouldn't be here or they can't be here, but those are people. So I'm not trying to get rid of. You're going to have to mix in with a community of different types of people. And if anything you want, because you're wealthy, you can say, hey, I don't want to see these people. Get them out of here. That translates to all sorts of people. And you can see that.
Noah, you lived in New York.
Yeah.
For 3 years. Homelessness existed in New York. I remember being at Penn Station, catching the train. Listen, Penn Station.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different animal.
New York
man.
forces everybody together until you go inside a restaurant or a house or a hotel. But it says, hey, if you get on the train, you're going to see everybody.
So because of your experience in New York, because of your influence in Dallas, how do you solve? What do you say to Mayor Johnson or Mayor whomever or City Manager Tolbert or whomever? Here's what I think based on my experience.
Well, there's, I don't know if I have I know we have a lot of smart minds on that here. But I don't know if I have the answer if your attitude toward it is purely an eyesore, or it's not from a place of being of assistance and contributing to housing and contributing to cleanliness of downtown. But I'm a big fan of downtown, but it needs to be pressure washed. It needs to be. There's a lot of things that need to happen where you go, it's dirty, and it's not just the people.
I remember going to New York, and my youngest son, Bryant, he said, "This is the filthiest place I've ever seen in my life in New York."
New York is because they have all the trash in the streets, and you'll walk down and it'll be 10 rats run right in front of you,
big ones,
and you'll make a right and go into the house. I'm telling you'll be like, I know there's rats outside, but I live in here, man. It's nothing to do. Ian went up there, and anyway, I don't want to get into that story, but he saw. I mean, in New York, they just step right over people. The legs are they're sore, it's dirty. It's anyway. That's not AT&T, but
so if New York, and that's the city in America, why is it that AT&T can't function, or we, not just AT&T, why can't we function with the faults and the frailties and the fallacies of downtown Dallas. And how do we make that better?
Does AT&T like what they did?
That's a great question.
What they turned into?
It's a great question.
I think the screen is nice and all that stuff, but do they, they built all those restaurants and the surrounding development.
And do we go to those restaurants? I went to
some of the
Jackson's, a couple.
When it first started going out, but they've got some. They have other issues. They have parking issues, and because it's tough to park over there, you got to walk over there. It's not necessarily, despite how I don't know how many businesses, eat there daily, but they do great programming. They've got great events. AT&T needs to be a catalyst for Dallas, I think.
Well, and that's my point. So if they go to Frisco, Plano, but yet when John Stanky, and I hope he hears this, when he's in New York and they're going to ask him, well, where are you? He said, well, yeah, we're in Dallas.
Well, what are
no,
you saying?
No, you're not.
Yeah. What are you saying to all your employees who want to take public transit? If you go to a place like Plano or Frisco, how are you kind of you're going to make everybody drive. You're going to make everybody you're making them all come back to the office. But
100%. 5 days a week, 8 to 5. That's what AT&T says. Get it in here.
How many people work at AT&T downtown, do you think?
12,000.
Parking spots.
Great question.
I don't know where they park now.
So we need to address parking. Or do we need to say take public transit?
Well, I think their vision is to chase something that's already 15, 20 years ahead of them, which is Plano. I think if you're looking in 15 to 20 years from now, you're going to look at convention center, you're going to look at new arenas, you're going to look at things and go, maybe we should have been where all the stuff is. Because it's not good. I mean, they've got a good base, but anyways, that's my consideration.
I'm excited about what downtown could bring, but when your most recognizable tenant, the largest phone company in the world, says, I'm leaving, what does that say for downtown?
I think you got to be, I mean, business is business, but be a steward of the city you're headquartered in. I guess you can move your headquarters as much as you want, but I felt that way when I heard about AT&T taking over the internet at DFW Airport, because it used to be T-Mobile, and you went, this is your city. How are you gonna let T-Mobile have that internet access?
Right. I guess I'm passionate about it because AT&T. When I came out of college, Noah, everybody went to work for Southwestern Bell. My best friend, he went to work. He got a job at Southwestern Bell, stayed there 39 years. And it was downtown Dallas. That was a big deal. So you had businesses downtown, but you didn't have any residents downtown. Residents now, I don't know what the number is, but they're saying it's north of 20,000. I guess I'm making a plea, John Stanky. John, I've sent people over to see you. I called Ross Perot. This is fact. I called Ross Perot. I called Ron Kirk. I asked Mike Rawlins, can you go talk to John Stanky about staying downtown Dallas? This is my heart. This is my home. I'm not going anywhere. I'd like for you to stay in downtown Dallas. See if that works. Kim, if that works, I'm going to need to be on your payroll. This is the JBJ Management Podcast. I'm Willis Johnson with Noa Dowl.